Yo fight fans, you're listening to Boxing Life. As you may have guessed from the title, the topic of this video is the only time that Floyd Mayweather has suffered an official knockdown. Now, it is not what you may think when you hear the word knockdown, as you are about to see. The incident in question took place in his fight with Mexican Carlos Hernandez in 2001, back when Floyd was fighting at 130 pounds. Mayweather was controlling the action and winning the fight comfortably. However, in the sixth round he threw a left hook that landed high on Hernandez's head. It was clear that something was wrong as soon as the punch landed. He immediately grimaced in pain and turned away, causing his left glove to touch the canvas. Now, as many of you are probably already aware, in boxing, the rules are that if any part of your body, apart from the soles of your feet, touch the floor, then it is classed as a knockdown. So in this instance, referee Dale Grable correctly ruled it a knockdown and gave Mayweather a standing 8 count. Mayweather had a lot of problems with his hands throughout his career, and this is what was the problem here once again. In an interview, he later described that he felt a jolt of pain shoot down right from his arm, down his spine, as he landed the hook. After this fight, Mayweather actually called it one of the hardest fights of his career at the time, and stated that he was very disappointed with his performance. Floyd Mayweather ended up winning the fight widely by unanimous decision on all the judges' scorecards. Take a look at the sequence of events that led to the knockdown now.
Meanwhile, Hernandez is just digging away, trying to stay chest to chest with Mayweather. Gets a chance to hit Floyd after the referee said stop.
4.
And this is going to be called a knockdown against Floyd Mayweather.
7.
And he motioned Jim about his hand. A short left to the head. A delayed reaction. I'm just curious if he went down more because his hand hurt him than because he was hit.
It wasn't because of the punch. It wasn't because of the punch.
So this was the only official knockdown of Floyd Mayweather's career, as it is the only time a referee has given him a count. However, as many of you boxing fans will know, he has in fact been knocked down by a punch, but on this occasion the referee did not rule it a knockdown, so he did not receive a count. This took place in his fight against Zab Judah. Zab Judah was a very skillful southpaw, who gave Floyd Mayweather a lot of problems to deal with in the early rounds of their fight. It was looking as if Zab Judah was going to be a hard night's work for Mayweather. This became even more so when at one point, Zab Judah managed to time Floyd Mayweather perfectly, as he was throwing the lead right hand to the body. Zab, who was a southpaw, caught Floyd with a right hook, that sent Floyd off balance, and caused him to touch a glove on the canvas. For some reason, the referee did not rule it as a knockdown, and ruled it as a slip. However, it is clear for everyone to see that Floyd's glove touches the floor. Commentators, that included the former heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis, agreed that it should have been declared a knockdown, as Floyd's glove touched down.
The right glove definitely touches again.
This is the only true knockdown of Mayweather's career. It is truly remarkable that in 50 fights, spanning several different weight classes, fighting top fighter after top fighter, that this is the only time he has touched a glove down, and has never been put on his back, like most fighters have at some point in their careers. That is not to say that, at times, he has not had to demonstrate a very good chin, after being hit with powerful punches. This has occurred on several occasions and we will go through a few of these now. In his fight with Demarcus Corley, he was hurt numerous times. If you want to see a high-paced Floyd Mayweather fight, I recommend you go check this one out. Corley, like Judah, was a southpaw, and managed to land some good right hooks that hurt Mayweather. At one point, he hit Floyd with a huge hook that sent Floyd into a defensive posture along the ropes. Corley attempted to follow up on his success, but failed to do so.
3-0, 30-27. Floyd Mayweather. Well, he's in trouble now, as Demarcus Corley once again catches him and now tries to go to work against the ropes.
Floyd adjusted and managed to win the majority of the rounds, to defeat Demarcus Corley. As many of you have probably seen before, there was also the fight with Sugar Shane Mosley. In this fight, Shane Mosley landed a huge right hand, flush on the chin of Floyd Mayweather, and rocked him to his boots. Moments later, in the same round, Shane Mosley landed another devastating right hook to the temple of Floyd Mayweather. Once again, Floyd swayed and seemed like he was about to go down, but somehow managed to stay on his feet and grab hold of Mosley. We had rarely seen Mayweather in this situation, looking this vulnerable, and taking such big punches from his opponent, and it seemed to many at the time that the first loss of his spectacular career could be about to take place.
Against Shane Mosley, who drills it over the top like that. Then he gets hit and buckled there, nearly floored. If we see that.
Yet again, Floyd Mayweather adapted and made the necessary adjustments, and went on to dominate every single round after this one. Mayweather changed his tactics, and decided to walk down Shane Mosley and put him on the back foot. Mosley barely landed another good punch throughout the fight, and was clearly outclassed, as Floyd could hit him at will, while Mosley struggled to land a glove on Floyd. It went from one of the most worrying moments of Mayweather's career, to one of his most dominant performances. It was at this moment that many fans realized that Floyd Mayweather was a lot more than simply a defensive genius. He also had a solid chin and possessed a lot of punch resistance, despite not needing to show this quality in the majority of his fights. He was also hit with a very solid right hand in his second fight with Marcos Maidana. In this instance, Maidana actually showed some very high boxing skill level, contrary to what many fans view him as, which is a rough and rugged power puncher, with not a lot of skill. As you may know, Floyd likes to use the pull-back counter, where he pulls back from an opponent's jab and counters over the top with the right hand. He was using this technique a lot in the Maidana fight. However, Maidana noticed the pattern and decided to bait Floyd into a trap. He threw his jab, and anticipated Floyd's counter, dropping underneath it while simultaneously throwing a right hand of his own, exactly where he knew Floyd's head would be. The punch was perfectly timed, and it was very surprising to see Maidana's ability to notice Floyd's counter, and make the necessary adjustments. The shot clearly shook Floyd up, as he looked shaky sitting down in his corner, and luckily for him, this all occurred at the end of the round, so he had a minute to gather himself and clear his head. Once again, Floyd adjusted and went on to win the fight by a wide margin. The final time we are going to look at when Floyd Mayweather has had to demonstrate a good chin, was in his super fight against Manny Pacquiao. As you see here, Manny landed a solid left hand on the chin of Mayweather, sending him into the ropes in a defensive posture. Manny followed up with a combination, but for some reason, called off the attack. Floyd shook his head, and declared that he was not hurt, which probably meant that he was. This was possibly the best shot that Manny landed on Floyd, and it was still nowhere near enough. Floyd took the punch and, yet again, made adjustments and went on to dominate Pacquiao, and win the fight by a comfortable margin. A lot of you guys on my channel seem to think Pacquiao beat Mayweather, however he simply did not land enough. These moments demonstrate exactly why Floyd Money Mayweather is looked at by many, as one of the greatest fighters of all time. He has displayed on numerous occasions his ability to overcome adversity, and every single time, come out on top. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you have. Until next time, you've been listening to Boxing Life.